Hey guys, welcome to episode 17. Today's a big one where we automate 5 of the 6 remaining parts in the game. So it's the heat sinks, the thermo propulsion rocket, the turbo motor, the fused modular frames, and the cooling system. So looking forward to showing you guys that. And obviously now that I've set up the webcam, just thought I'd come on and just say thanks guys for the subs and thanks for the comments. It's really engaging, it's been awesome, and I'm learning a lot and I hope you guys are too. So without ado, let's jump into this episode. As you can see, I've made some changes to the spreadsheet. So if we first look at the new additions, it's going to be the blender section at the bottom, and then the turbo motor and the thermo rocket, because the last one we ended off was the magnetic. So these are the 4 new machines that are going to be added onto the network. And then we also have an assembler, so that's going to be the 5th machine. It's just tucked away in the assembler sections that we've got everything nice together. So all assemblers together, all manufacturers together, and now the blenders. Step number 1 is let's go and sort out the aluminium casing. Step number 2 is we'll go along this way where the train station meets the end by the copper there, go over the hill to go and get the nitrogen for step number 2. And then step number 3 will be sorting out the copper. And the last step will be actually increasing the machines and building the new machines that we need. So I've been around the world. I've done the upgrades for the factory in terms of the 4 different stations. So each one of them now is bringing in 480 resources for the bauxite, the quartz, the coal, and the copper. So if we just put down a normal smelter and we go and look at the aluminium scrap, that's 360. So let's see how much we can actually put out on the belt. Is going to be 780. So the 780 less the 360 is what we can actually do. So let's have a look. So 780 divided by 360 means that this machine needs to operate at 216.6667%. So if we go back to this machine here and we flesh this one out to be 216.6667. There you go, 780. So we need 520 ammonia solution per minute. And this one was overclocked at 120 before, and this one, if I remember, was matching. So I'm guessing it'll be the exact same speed of the 260. So let's just copy this and then go back to this and then set that with the 3 additional. And we should get a match. So let's see, 520 per minute and 520 per minute. But we are going to have a problem with the water. So let's see the difference between these two. So this is putting out 260 water and this is 433. So if we do 433.333 less 260, we need 173.3 recurring. Okay, and this machine that we got over here, this one needs to run at 173.3 recurring. So again, we can just slap on a power shard for that. So let's find the power shards and put that in, and then this one has to be 173.333 recurring. So as you can see, I've cleaned up the table here for us, so the foundation is all ready for our new constructors and series of foundries. So let's have a look. We've got 780 aluminium scrap, and that 780 aluminium scrap, if we put it into a foundry to make aluminium ingot, there's 90 per foundry. So if we take that 780 and we divide it by 90, that means that we're going to need at least 8.6. So previously we just had the 6 and we were turboing them or boosting them. So let's make 2 sets of foundries, and those foundries will obviously connect to each other and process those materials. We'll put it like there. Yeah. And then another set. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, and then we'll link these. And these are going to be making aluminium. So we've got 12 foundries, so we need to do 780 divided by 12 foundries gives us 65. So each of these needs to be set to 65, and if we go 65 divided by 90, it's 72.22 recurring. So all of these machines need to be set to 72.22 recurring. Let's give it a little room to breathe. And then that can build up with the scrap. Cool. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to put the silica in there, and it's the same thing. Let's see how much silica we need. All of these. So we need 54.167, 54.167, and we're going to times that by 12. So we need 650, give or take, in terms of the silica. Go and have a look at the constructor. Each constructor can put out a maximum of 37. So let's have a look. We're going to actually have to put 650 divided by 37.5. So we need at least 17 constructors. Let's put this guy down. Okay, so we're going to have this one coming in for the quartz. This is going to be our first set. Second set. And then we need one more. Okay, there you go, third set. Because let's link all these belts. Thank goodness for blueprints. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so now all of these need to be set to silica, but now we need 650 silica, and we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24, obviously 8 in each set, 3 sets, so that makes sense. So 650 divided by 12, sorry, divided by 24 is 27.0833. This is going to be silica 27.0833. Paste this across all of our constructors. That's quite a few constructors. If it wasn't for this copy paste setting, I'd lose my mind. Okay, so those have all been set. And then let's get this machine over here, or storage, I mean, not machine. And then that's going to link up to there. Then we'll run this for the silica. Okay, let's connect this to the power. Just imagine that power grid. Wouldn't like to be that electrician. This is going to be a big hit on the network. Okay, let's bring this guy back. Okay, that one's connected. Let's connect the next set. Okay, all the machines should have power now. Why don't these have power? This one not connect to anything. Ha, this one doesn't connect to anything. There we go. Okay, so everything should start processing. Machines are all kicking on slowly but surely. We must also make sure that we link up the blueprints, because we've laid down a couple of blueprints here and they would be separate, so don't assume that they're all going to be connected. So let's connect all of those and then everything can process. So the only thing we're going to have now is we're going to have the aluminium clogging, because we're not using all of the aluminium. So let's just redo that, connect them back on the belts, because we changed the position. This can then connect up and shoot off. You can actually drop it down a little bit. I like that. Perfect. Let's head off down to the casing section and we can go and flesh that out. So maybe let's do, I'd say, 2 more of these casings. Paste those settings, link it up to the network. And bear in mind, we only needed like 22 or 23 extra, but this will sort us out for later on in the game as well, which is nice, because we essentially doubled up the production. Then we just need to copy the settings. Okay, Okay, so those should all be operational now. Because now we have 9, 8, and 27 being used here. And if we look at the 520, and we subtract the 27 that we're using, we got 250. And if we take the 250 and we divide it by that by 30, we can have 8 assemblers with 1 underclock to 33%. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's add on 2 more. Okay, that's 1. And 1 more. Okay, that's 2. Let's connect the bolts. Do we need 3 more, hey? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we need 1 more. Okay, this one's going to be locked to 33%. Then let's just copy the other settings or the recipe for these ones. And then link up those bolts. And then let's just give them some power. So it's from here. $249.9. So let's just say 250. So that's updated. The last thing to do is let's possibly just jump into the spreadsheet and then just do an update of that and see where we are. So the casing's been increased. Let's have a look for that. There we go. So that's gone up to 180. So now that's in the clear, which is fantastic. And then the clad as well. That's gone up to 250. Where's the clad again? 250. Okay. Awesome. So that's the aluminium chain. Next thing to look at is the nitrogen. Got everything that we need on the train for the nitrogen. So let me, and I've loaded up my character as well. So let me take the train. We're going to ride it to the point where we finish the station. Or not finish the station, finish the pathway to the copper. But then we're going to start building right and over the hill. So let's make our way there. It's roughly where that train just turned the corner up ahead. And then we can start building it on this level through behind the nitrogen, which I think is going to be awesome. Then I also noticed at the end of the last episode, when I finished off the power upgrade, there was actually another geyser. So you'll see on the left here, I've actually put down a second geyser there. Don't know how I missed it, but yeah, I've put that down there as well for the extra power, which has been quite nice for the network. So yeah, let's head through this way. Let's go to the end of the path and we can start adding onto the network. Okay, so now our train's safely parked away from all the other trains, so it won't affect the network. Got this little signal over here, so it is blocking the train. Okay, now we got power so we can fly. That's great. So what we do for the foliage, or what I like to do, is I build the network first, because then it's got the power, and then you can do something like this, which I'll show you now. Just let the train go all the way through to the end. So I'm going to jump out between these two trees here. Cool, then what you do is you just hover down, get out the chainsaw, and do your thing. And nice and then you don't have to worry about getting back onto the platform because it's powered, so you can just fly back up. We can do the same thing for this tree. Makes it a little easier. Let's have a look at our platforms. Maybe do one more on each side. And then a 2 meter up. Okay, we're out of concrete. Good thing we got the train with the extras. I'll show you something also I like to do. Is sometimes people don't like how these train tracks look because of the increase. And if you'll, well, the jaggedness of it. And if you'll remember, we actually did a purchase last episode where we just bought everything from the shop. And you'll see that there's an inverted. So you could always do something like this. There you go. And yeah, that looks quite nice in terms of doing the ramps. Is this clear? Okay, one more. Okay, last one. Okay, that looks good. Okay, let's do our foundation again. And then we can link it up to our blueprint. And I think we're getting fairly close now. There's the nitrogen right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the time, flesh this out, build the train station with the fluid buffers. But I'll wait because we haven't done the fluid buffers yet. I'll get the train station ready and then I'll start showing you how to do the fluid buffers. So our train station shell is ready. Nitrogen down there, and we've got the station here. So what I'd like to do is to actually link up fluid stations now, or fluid freights platforms, because we haven't done those before. So this is the one that we're going to use, and that's going to be linked on that side because we don't want it to interfere with the rail. And we're going to need 4 again, just so that our trains can carry them nicely and don't drop off in speed at all. So let's just extend the back of it, and we need that obviously for the turning for the train. It's looking good. Bring it around this side. And then in line with the platform here. And then let's link it up. Let's give this the name. So this is going to be the nitrogen pickup. And then let's put down the train that we're going to need for the train that's actually going to be doing the pickup. And then the 4 carts. And these will change to tankers as soon as they get loaded, which is pretty awesome. Let's connect the power from here down to... There's a good one. It's going to prepare the fluid inlet. So it's going to grab our Mark II pipe. And which one's going to be the inlet? I think it's the first one in each set. Yeah. So let's grab the Mark II. Put it facing this way. Run from here all the way through to the next inlet, which is there. Put in our T-cross sections. Connect those up. Well, then we don't need these little ends. And then let's get this all connected through, maybe in the middle. We'll go over here. This looks like a good spot. Right there. And then we'll put down our fluid buffer. That looks like a good spot. We can extend this out a bit. And then we'll hook up the nitrogen down and start pumping it up. So let's go and connect the bottom. I suppose let's remove this. We know exactly where we want to build the wall. And let's go underneath our rail for power. Don't want to get too far forward, otherwise it's going to drop us into the abyss. Cool, and then let's use this as the foundation for building down. Yeah, we'll delete this one. Put this floor back. Oh, just gotta change the size. Yeah. And then just put this directly underneath here. And then we can run power so we don't go diving off. I should actually do this when we need to go across the train. Bear that in mind, because normally I build a pillar above and then we bring it across. I like going underneath, hide the cables, like an electrician. Okay, and then let's just feed this down. Okay, and then the pipe's going to be over that way, so let's put that there. Cool. Here's the nitrogen spots, guys. Okay, so plan what you have to do is you put down a big miner, so something like this. So we go to our production, and you'll see we've got a pressure, and this is going to put a pressurizer here. And what that does is it's going to push resources out these different nodes that are around the place here. So if I do a little scan here, you can see that it's going to find the actual node, but not the surrounding ones. So what you then have to do is you have to put these little resource wells on all of these, and you tube them all together, and then you feed them up to a place. So we're going to have a buffer down here that's going to collect, and then a buffer up there that's going to obviously collect there, so that we can have both resources. So let's put out a couple of foundations here. Let's get everything level. And then let's turn this where we got the power facing there. That's good. Awesome. So this is just going to start pumping the nitrogen gas. So if we have a look at here, this is doing 780. So that's quite insane. So it all depends on the number of ones that we actually commit or connect to around here. So if we go back to our resource wells, let's connect some. We want them generally all facing this sort of direction. And then there was a couple more here. That one, and this one. And then you can go see all of these are going to do difference depending on their outputs. This is doing 120. That one's 120. Nice, that's also 120. 120. 120. Okay, cool. So we got how many nodes here? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 120 times 6 is 720. And this is putting out 780. There's the other one. Knew it was here somewhere. Okay, so they're all putting out 120. How's that possible? One of them must be 60. There you go. This one's 60. Okay, so we got 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at 120 and 1 at 60. So plus 60. And that's how we get to our 780. Cool. So the problem is that we're not going to be using all 780 because we can only carry 600 along our tube. So I propose that we connect everything into one set of tubes here that's going to go. Then we'll just take the 600 for now. So let's just look at this machine and underclock it to 600, and then we'll collect everything from all of the nodes. The resources gathered. Let's do the final connection. Cool. And then let's put down our fluid buffer. I like that. Cool. So that's going to fill up with the gas now. Everything's connected. Yeah, that all looks good. All 7 nodes, and then we've underclocked this to 600. Cool. So that's going to get connected there, and then let's drive it all the way through to the train now. Cool. And that's looking good, guys. Okay, so let's put the train on the schedule. Nitrogen train. And then what we'll do is we'll just put it on the nitrogen pickup. And then we'll edit this timetable, say that its weight is fully loaded or 300. Again, just to save space on the network. And then turn on, and it should fill up. What's going to happen now is it's going to wait till there's enough gas in all of these to load the entire train, which shouldn't take too long. So we'll just leave it to do its thing. It should drain out successfully into all of these compartments, so just give it some time. And eventually the train's going to do its load. While we wait for that, we can of course head back to to home base and build the receiving end on that side. So just like where we did the rubber and plastic drop off, we're going to go and do the same thing now with the nitrogen. Cool, so I've put the destination now for the nitrogen drop off, just like what we've done for the rubber and plastic from the fuel distilled factory. And what I've done is I've just linked it up to the same network that we've got for the nitrogen. So if you look here on the side, all I've done is I've linked this up through to the outlets of the fluids, to the fluid buffer, and then I'm running that underneath. And we don't have the network done underneath just yet, but I've got it prepared to come through onto that side there. So I've been giving it some thought, and I got an idea for that, which I'll show you just now. But let's just program the train to start getting it coming this side, because currently, if we look at the charts, it's just sitting there waiting for us. So let's go to the timetable. Let's go to our nitrogen train, and then let's set up the timetable. So let's go from the pickup to the drop-off. So let's add this one. And then on the drop-off side, let's edit that to actually do the same thing that we've done before, for whether it's fully unloaded or wait for 300 seconds, just to again save things on the network. And yeah, let's turn on the driving. So nitrogen train will start coming through, and as you can see, it's just switched now to the pickup. So it's going to pick it up, and then the next one's going to be the drop off. So we'll let that do its thing. It'll come through here and start dropping off the goodies for us. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these stackable pipe supports, and all we're going to do is we're going to use the normal ones first. So if we go and look at the normal stacks, and we just stack these up quickly, this is what we'd normally use to extend the network here. Now what I'm proposing is, rather than just use the logistics, which we obviously can't use, let's use something like this, put that on there, and then we do the same thing on these over here halfway through, and then we can link all the pipes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can't go further than that. So let's be safe and just do it on this one. So that still looks cool for the factory, because it looks like it's just holding the belts, which isn't a problem. And I need to go one more down. Actually, we need to go one more up because of the existing network there. Yes, so that's perfect. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put this one on here, because this needs to match the height of the existing ones, because I think we added the sulfur onto this side. Yeah, that's going to be good. So we need to reserve that spot for any sulfur that we want to bring additionally, for example. So let's take this one off one level, add on another, and then use the pole, and then we can link them like this. And just like that, now we've got a cool belt that we can essentially pull off for the pipes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this all the way through here and there, and I'm going to do this too high because we're going to need this for the water. So something like that, and then I'll run it all the way through the factory for the water and the nitrogen, just because if you go and look at the blender for the parts that we're going to be making, you'll see that the fused modular requires just the nitrogen, and that's fine. The cooling system requires water and nitrogen, so that's where the water's coming in. That's why we're going to need that additional stack. Yeah, finished doing all the linking for the nitrogen and for the water. So you'll see here, what I've done is I've got the nitrogen coming from behind, like I mentioned, from the station. It's feeding along here, and then it's going up onto the network above. But before I go above and show you that, what I've also done is I've also got the water coming from below into a fluid buffer, and then just being pumped up here as well. So we've got both the water and the nitrogen for the cooling systems that we're going to be creating. And then what I've done is, like I was explaining, is I've actually fed it onto the belt. So if you look here, these two tubes run all the way up here onto conveyors, and then again feed onto the system here in terms of our logistics. So now we've got water and nitrogen coming along, and all that I've done is I've taken it through the factory and now I've wrapped it. So essentially this stack over here has every item in the game that we're manufacturing, with the last one being a sushi belt and everything else in between. Yes, looking at the spreadsheet, we've now got our nitrogen coming in. So let's put that at 780 because that's the max. We've got 600 in terms of what we're actually bringing, so we're well in excess of that. So we could severely underclock it, but I'm not too concerned about that for now. So the only other requirement to get the build working with all the changes that we've made across wherever there's green sections is just the copper wire. And like we saw, the problem is that we're going past our bulb max. So that got me thinking, do we really want to run another copper wire, or maybe look at some alternative recipes? So I was looking at where we're actually using the wire, and you can see the wire is being used in the assemblers for the reinforced, it's been used for the stators, it's been used for the cable, and it's been used for the battery. So the battery we're not going to get much saving because we need 115 saving. So it's potentially the choice between cables, copper, stator, or reinforced. Those are the three different ones that we could look for. We look at the reinforced. We've actually got two alternative recipes. We can either go back to screws or we can go back to rubber. So that's the option that we could do in terms of saving copper on the network. The other one is looking at the stator recipe. We could use quick wire. The problem is that we add our quick wire max, so that's really not an option because we're using too much of the quick wire in terms of that for the high speed connectors. So let's possibly look at the last one on the list, which is the cable. And cable has quite a few different recipes. This one uses quick wire and rubber, so that's out. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch out this recipe, and then we can have a look at what we can do to beef up production for the rotors to get the 500, because currently it's only got a 480, and that'll give us a lot of room to expand and grow on the reinforced. So I've fleshed out the constructors, I've added on the additional ones to push out the belt limit. So we've gone from 480 to 780 on each of these lines. So that's 1,560 on both combined. So the one line is going to be used exclusively for the rotors, and the other line is going to be exclusively used for the reinforced plate. Okay, so I was looking at the recipe for the reinforced, and I'm just getting the quantities to update the spreadsheet, when I noticed that there's going to be a problem. So I'm sure you'll spot the problem as well, is that we're going to be short on iron plates now. So the good news is I've taken the time and I've actually gone through and I've beefed up the factory in terms of that. So now we're getting 390 there, and we actually got 12 of these. So we're putting out 180 in terms of the iron plates. So that's great because that means that we're now clearing 60. So with the iron plates now upgraded, it means that we can now switch out the recipes for the reinforced and start doing the upgrades through the factory. Okay guys, we did it. The factory is prepared. We can now finally do these last 5 items. It's going to be crazy. I can't believe we're actually finally at this point. Okay, so we're going to create the heat sinks over there. We're going to create the cooling system there with the blender. We're then going to create the fused core over this side. Then we're going to have the thermo propulsion and the turbo motors. So let's get stuck in. Let's put this down over here for the heatsink. Okay, we want to select the heatsink on this side. On this side, we're going to be creating our blender. So let's go and grab the blender. And that linked up nicely here. Okay, the merger. And this one we're going to be doing the fused. We're going to do the exact same thing this side. Okay, and this one's going to be doing the cooling system. Then we need our 2 sets of manufacturers, so we'll just go grab our blueprint. And this one's going to be doing the thermal propulsion rocket. And then the last one on this side, another blueprint for the manufacturer. And this is going to be our turbo motor. So I've taken the time as well and I've put down all these marked areas because, as you'll see, the factory's right at the end level of the game now, so finding a spot at the bottom is quite tricky to get. Although we still got floor space, I've obviously tried to link them up as best I can. So we're using this whole floor for these 5 parts, and these 5 parts are the few hardest to make. So let's get this going. I'm super keen, man. Whereas the next thing is let's hook it up all to power. So let's get these all connected. So let's drag from here. So let's do it like that. Connect to that one. Run this to here. There. Same thing on this side. Okay, so looking at the spreadsheet, yep, we can see that we have to do 2 of the assemblers for the heat sinks. So let's put down another one of those. And then we're going to underclock every machine to half except for the cooling system. So let's jump back into game and go do that. Okay, so we need an extra heatsink. Let's get a assembler to the right. Copy that recipe, paste it, and then let's just link the backs. And then let's run up the stuff for the heatsink. So we're going to need the L-clad and the copper sheet. And as you can see, I've got this marker over here and that marker over there. So let's go and get this one. Okay, that's the copper sheets linked up. And then this one's going to be for the L-clad. And then let's bring these here. Cool. Okay, heat sinks are being made. So those will take a while. We can start running this way. Get this connected into the sushi belt. This is quite the sushi belt now, guys. I won't lie to you. Okay, that's all linked up. Next one, let's do the blender. Which one shall we do? This one. Okay, so for this one we're going to need the heavy modular frame and the aluminium casing and the gas. So let's do that. Okay, so this is for the heavy modular frame. Okay, then the next one is the aluminium casing. Well, and then we need the nitrogen. Okay, so let's link this up. I think the top one's the nitrogen. No, top one's the water, bottom one's the nitrogen. Okay, so it's going to be this one here. And I think I got these two mixed up, but that doesn't matter. Let's just bring it up from this side. Yep, that's the nitrogen. Okay, let's link these. So we're going to do this one on that level, and this one 2 higher. Same thing on that one. make that straight rather. Okay, those ones are linked up. And then the only other thing that we need to do is to run the nitrogen. We can actually run it past, just in case we want to double this up in the future. Let's get a splitter for the T-cross. Okay, that one's all linked up. Nitrogen gas filling up. I think the only thing that's missing in here is just setting the splitter settings. So let's do right any center overflow, copy that, paste that. Cool, and that's filling up. Nice. Okay, so let's run this again to the system on this side. Put this down here. Raise that up to here. And then let's just go link this up onto the sushi belt. Okay, that one's linked. Cooling system, so we need the heat sinks rubber. So that's going to be from the same one down at the bottom here with the alternating splitter. So let's hook that up. Okay, and that one's for the heat sinks. Okay, next I'm going to get is the rubber. So that's going to be with this one. I think it's this level here. Yeah, that's the rubber sorted. Okay, then we're going to need both water and nitrogen for this side. So let's run this past again, just like what we did with the other blender. So let's do the exact same thing. We'll just lift it up too. Reconnect it. Do the same thing in the terms of this. Like that. Link them together. Then we'll do the T-cross on this level. That looks good to me. Okay, so we got the water in there coming in. So now it's just the heat sink and the rubber. Yeah. And then we can extend all the way this way as well, so that's not a problem. Okay, let's set the overflows. Cool. Okay, we got some cooling systems in production. Now, if you remember what I said is that we just need to underclock everything except for the cooling system. So that's great. This can stay on 100%. This, I believe, needs to be underclocked to 50%. This one also to 50. And also the last one for the turbo motors. Okay, let's hook this one up to the sushi belt from downstairs. Don't like that I'm going skew like that, so let's do it nicely. Getting so excited to get these parts sorted, I'm trying to rush it. Rather just take your time. Don't know what's happening there. Okay, that's linked up onto the sushi belt. At least we're going to be earning some nice tickets while those go into the burner for the awesome sink. Okay, 2 more to go. These are the big ones, so let's do modular engine, turbo, cooling system. So let's go grab the cooling system. I think these are the ones. These are both cooling systems on both sides. Yeah, that's the one. The machine, or the input going the wrong way, it needs to be reversed. Yeah, that's all linked up. Same thing on the other side. While we're down here, let's go and do that. Okay, so that's both the cooling systems linked. Okay, so the next one that we're going to be doing is the modular and the turbo and the fused. So let's do the turbos first. We'll do the motor on the left and the turbo on the right. One of these ones here. That's the one. Okay. And I need some more all-clad sheets, it seems like, guys. Maybe we can get away with one more here. No. Yes, let's go get some all-clad. And then the last one we have to hook up is just the rubber. I think it's on this side that it needs it. Yes, it's just the rubber from this one. That's going to be this one that's missing. And I think it's literally this one right here. Yeah, that's the rubber. And then I think that's everything. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 parts for there, and 1, 2, 3, 4 parts for here. Okay, let's link all of these up. Okay, that's the rubber and the cooling system. Now it's just the radio and the motor. Okay, that's all looking good from this side. Let's jump across to this side. Okay, then it's the other 4 that we have to hook up, so let's do the front one first. That's better. Okay, then the next 2. Okay, all linked up, all got power. So that should be building up and start manufacturing soon. You can see this one's underway. Okay, so let's link this up to the belt. Really looking forward to getting these all onto the storage as well. There goes the first turbo motor. Nice. Okay, that's building up. So I think the only one that we haven't hooked up now is just this last one for the thermo. Just right. And then that's going to be hooked up soon. Let's just jump down and connect that. And that's where our thermal propulsion is going to join on. Nice. Let's go down now and let's go and build the storages. Okay, so we need to throw on 5 more storage bins. We don't have enough space on this side, so I'm going to wrap them around on here. So let's build it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for our 5 new items. obviously the 4 on screen, the thermo, the cooling, the fuse, the turbo, and then we're still building the heat sinks as well. Okay, all the storages are linked up. I think the best thing now is let me give it some time to run, stabilize, and check the network. Let me wait for it to stockpile, and then I'll be back with an update. Okay guys, I'm happy to report that everything's running 100% efficient here. So you can see all of these are running correctly. I've even taken the time, I've put some roof on the factory, and then I've also put up the signposts just like what we've done before. So you can see, yeah, this is running 100% efficient. Same thing on this side for the fused cores. And then we've got our turbo motors. And then the last thing is the thermo propulsion, which is running at 0.5, which is fantastic. We finally automated. So this episode was a big one, guys. We've automated 4 parts essentially, and they're some of the hardest in the game, which has been really, really cool and exciting and challenging to do. And I've linked them all up to the storages, but only once all of those machines have started backlogging successfully would they start feeding down into the storage units. Then I think the nice thing to do, well, one of the things on the to-do list is to link this up to storage now, so it can start feeding into completing the phase 4, and then I'll be happy with wrapping up this episode. So let's dive in under the floor here, link it up, and start feeding it into the space elevator. Actually got quite a few. Okay, let's go underground. Okay, let's run this all the way through. Feels so weird building on the ceiling, guys. I gotta get used to it. Okay, let's go back under, connect the final path. Okay, that's all connected. Cool guys, I think that's it for this episode. Hopefully what I'll do is at the start of the next episode we'll be able to do the hand-in. But the next episode is definitely going to be about focusing on the hand-in for the particle enrichment. And then we can work on the nuclear power plant. Awesome. Thanks for joining guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.